twirling. The contents of this video have been targeted towards backyard twirlers and is intended only as an introduction to fire safety. We advise that fire should only be attempted with the assistance of an experienced fire user.
Am I ready for fire?
Whoa! Who are you?
Hi, I'm Pele. I've come 9,000 miles from New York because it's kind of obvious that you're not really ready for fire yet. So I'm here to help you out. Some points to ask yourself are, why do you want to use fire? Remember, you're not a better spinner with fire. Are you competent and comfortable enough in your skills? If you're not, you shouldn't even attempt it. Are you aware of the dangers to your personal self and to the property of others? And once you learn those dangers, are you willing to be responsible for them? The items we recommend you have before fire spinning are a cell phone, notepad, first aid kit, an empty tin with lid or an empty paint can which is clean and new, damp towel, fire extinguisher, fuel container, squirt water bottle, funnel, kitty litter, a fire blanket or military wool blanket, and if you are spinning at night, a flashlight. You're wearing a lot of dangly bits. These are going to get caught in your tools and it's going to cause an accident. We don't want that. Next, there's a lot of fuzz on this sweater and it'll go up in flames. It's got to go. You have a polyester shirt and synthetic fiber pants. You need to lose them because they'll melt to your skin. That's better. So that was a bit of fun, but seriously, it is important to remember that unless labeled as flame resistant or flame retardant, all fabrics should be treated as highly flammable. Fabrics with loose weaves or worn loosely tend to catch fire more easily. Because of this, pearly, fluffy, or fuzzy materials should be avoided. Anything loose-fitting or with dangly bits should also be avoided. It is also important to check and see what the material is. Anything synthetic such as nylon, polyester, acetate, or rayon should be avoided at all costs. And to make sure that your hair is covered and you avoid hairspray. What are you doing? Hand over the boy. We're not ready for fire yet. I mean, look around you. This is not a safe place to spin. These are the elements which make a good location. Even ground, away from a walkway, on a non-slippery surface. Plenty of room to move, away from wooden structures. Your area should be clear of all debris and clutter, especially dry natural materials, which are combustible. Your location should have a known address and phone coverage. Check to make sure it is not in a fire ban area before you even start. Make sure any animals are properly restrained. Make sure your area is clear of overhanging objects, including tree branches and power lines. Make sure there are clear exits which are not obstructed by the fuel dump or by your safety. I suggest that you get a certification from an accredited first aid course. Do you have that? All right, nice job. In fire spinning, the golden rule is to never spin alone. You need a fire safety. A good fire safety is attentive, should not panic in an emergency situation. A fire safety should know first aid and be trained in how to use all of the safety equipment. It is advised that the fire safety follow the same clothing guidelines as the spinner. Communication between a spinner and a safety is paramount. You must be clear with what you are going to do with your fire safety when they are required. Safety should keep 6 to 10 feet to the side of the fire spinner and have safety equipment out and ready for use. You should choose a word not associated with fire for the safety to call loudly and clearly to announce danger. We have chosen the word orange. When your safety word has been called out, you should stop spinning, put equipment in one hand, and look down to check and see if you can pat out the fire if possible. If you cannot, yell help. This tells the safety to come into your aid. While entering, your safety should yell incoming, and all motion should be stopped. If your safety gives you the go-ahead, you may continue spinning. But remember, while you are spinning, your safety can see things you cannot, and so he or she is in charge. You should practice these measures before lighting up.
Orange right leg.
Help!
Incoming. Orange back. Incoming. Orange back, roll. Orange chest.
Help!
Prior to lighting up, you'll want to check your equipment. First, you will want phone coverage. If you are using a cell phone, be sure to check for proper coverage. Second, have a notebook. On the notepad, you should have the address where you are spinning, the nearest crossroads listed, a full name of the person spinning, and their emergency contact information, or any existing medical conditions. This is to allow medical emergency to help you as fast as possible. You will need a first aid kit appropriate for burns. Check with your pharmacist or doctor for appropriate items. You will need an empty tin or paint can with a lid that is clean and preferably new for fueling in. You will need a damp towel free of frays and debris, a dry chemical fire extinguisher suitable for Class A, B, and C fires, which is free of debris with the pin intact. Be sure to check the pressure gauge and expiration date. Also check to make sure the canister is not dented or corroded in any way. Fuel containers which are clearly marked for fuel with no signs of rust or damage with a locking safety cap, and a funnel to pour fuel from the dump back into your storage container. We also recommend that you should have a material safety data sheet, or MSDS, for each fuel you use, which you have read and understand. A fire blanket or wool military blanket free of frays, holes, debris, and residual fuel. A water bottle with fresh water can be used as an eye wash or for a burn rinse. Kitty litter to absorb any spilled fuel. Lastly, due to heat, noise, and the light effects, we recommend your first burn be during the day. But in the instance where you choose to have it at night, we do recommend that you have a flashlight. In choosing your fuel dump, you will need to consider a safe spot free of all debris, a place away from heat, flames, or other hazards. Try not to keep it on a walkway. You will want to choose a place with level ground, away from exits, paths, and doorways, and you will want it to be on a non-combustible surface. When selecting your fuel, you need to look at flash points. A flash point is the degree at which a fume from a fuel will explode. Automotive vehicle fuel, gas or petrol, are explosive. White gas, also known as Coleman's camp fuel, is also an explosive. We recommend that you do not use these. Citronella oil is used in lamps, but it has also been known to cause allergic reactions and asthma attacks, and so we recommend highly against using this. What fuels we will recommend are kerosene and lamp oil, which have a high flash point, which means that it does not explode easily at lower temperatures. I think you're about ready now to start fueling up. So let's start with an equipment check. Grab a poi. And what you're going to do is remove all debris from the fire head. Make sure it's nice and clean. You're going to take those pliers there, and you're going to check and make sure that all of your quick links are nice and tight. All right. And then pull on all of the lengths of the chain to make sure that they're holding well. All right. And then pull on the handles and make sure the stitching will hold. If everything checks out really well, you can go ahead and put them fire head down in the fuel bucket. Make sure that as much of the chain as possible is out. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your fuel can and you're going to pour it over the fire heads. Okay. You're going to want to do that until they're damp, but there's not a ton of excess fuel in there. Try and avoid the metal bits. So once they're soaked up, we're going to show you a couple of methods for blotting. So this one, you're going to take a supermarket bag, put a towel in the bottom of it. Like so. Take out one of the poi and put it in there, just the head. And close the towel around it. And squeeze. This is called blotting, and it helps to remove the excess fuel so that it doesn't fly all over. All right? The next method is squeezing. You're going to want a pair of heavy-duty rubber gloves. And we don't normally spin off. You're going to see a lot of spinners who will spin off, and we normally don't do that because it sprays fuel everywhere, and that will make the ground slippery, and it's also a form of pollution, so we want to try and avoid that. You're going to take that extra poi head right there, and you're going to squeeze it over the dump and try to get as much of the excess off. And then your poi will be ready to go.
How do we do a fire start?
All right, well, put your poi in there, and we'll cover the stack. Same way, you want to remove all excess debris from the head, and you want to make sure that the post itself is free of all corrosion and that all of your screws are nice and tight. All right, you're going to take one end and put it in your fuel dump, and you're going to pour the fuel over it. Again, till it's damp, try and avoid the metal bits. Now with the staff, because it's double-ended, what you're going to want to do is more of a blotting method. So you'll put it in a towel and then squeeze around it. Nice and tight. And then you're going to hold the towel under the fire head on this side, because when you fuel the other end, it keeps it from dripping down the staff. Let me hold that for you. And then you're going to tip it horizontally and blot out the other end. And then you're ready to go.
Excellent.
I think you're ready to light them up.
For lighting up, you should remember, the noise will be extremely loud. There's a lot of heat that comes off of the fire, and there is also a lighting effect which is similar to strobe lights. This is why we recommend that you light up for your first time during the day. When you light up from a lighter or a candle, please remember that the flames do move up the chains and can burn your hands. You will want to keep them in a constant slow motion until they are fully engulfed in the flame. Please remember, do not travel too far away from your safety while you are fire dancing. Take it slow. Do only tricks you are comfortable and competent with. You can stop anytime you feel like it, and you do not need to complete a full burn. Extinguish your equipment before the fuel is used up to maintain your wick integrity. There you go. All right. Keep them swinging. Things to remember when extinguishing your tools. Lay the towel on the ground, place your tools on it, and then from one side to the other, cover it. Pat down around your tools and then on top of it. You will want to wait a moment to make sure that the fire has been extinguished. Make sure your tools have cooled before refueling. Remember to only use fire extinguishers if the fire has spread off of the tools. In using a fire extinguisher, remember to read the instructions for your specific brand. Remember to point the fire extinguisher at the base of the flame and then sweep from side to side. Do not use a CO2 dry chemical fire extinguisher on a person, as it can cause respiratory issues and chemical burns on that person.
So now we just have to clean up. I've got the safety bag here, and everything that had no fuel on it can go in the bag. Everything that had fuel on it has to go into a separate bag, including the poi and the towels. We're going to have to pour from our dump the excess fuel back into our container with the funnel, and we will be all set.
When cleaning up, extra fuel should be poured back into the original fuel container for storage in future use. Use kitty litter to absorb any spilled fuel. Clean up all trash and dispose of properly. Leave the area picked up and better than you found it. For further or advanced information, please contact the Red Cross, your local fire marshal, your local authority for fire bans, a family doctor, or a pharmacist for a list of first aid kit contents that would be appropriate.